All right, we're recording this right after the Jet game on Monday night, which ended in a usual, typical fashion for the Jets. It's the same old Jets. I know Aaron Glenn tried to tell us last week that it's not the same old Jets, but if anyone watched that game tonight, you know that the Jets just are a moribund, pathetic franchise, and I really despise being a fan, Derek, but it's kind of like, you know, been instilled in me at a young age that I need to be a Jets fan for my father. And it's funny because, you know, you and I share our Yankee fandom with one another. And usually, as all New York fans know, it's usually Jet Met, Yankee Giant for the most part. So odd that my father decided to make us Jet fans, but I guess, you know, he's still reminiscent on the Joe Namath days and stuff like that here. And, I mean, that's basically all we got as a franchise. Just absolutely. I'm just going to keep going. Derek, how you doing? Casey here. We just got, literally the game ended 10 minutes ago as we recorded. So these thoughts are fresh in me. But it's just so pathetic watching this team every week. I mean, it's getting hard for me to even come on this show with you and have to talk about how bad this team is, bro. It's just the same things too. That's what's so fucking aggravating about all this is that it's just, you know, the undisciplined nature. You know, I mean, again, 11 penalties for 107 yards, I believe. Let me just pull that up real quick. 101 yards, 13 penalties, 101 yards, and just the same pathetic kind of, you know, costly penalty. A lot of dumb ones, just like unnecessary roughness calls. It just pathetic, dude. But I mean, just to get things started here, I mean, this is where it just gets frustrating as a fan. We'll just start from the top where we do hold the Dolphins to a field goal to start off this game here, which I thought was big. And then, okay, let's, capitalize on this situation. We're going down the field, 12-play drive, and now we're about to punch it into the end zone. And guess what happens? Braylon Allen coughs up the football and gives it right back to the Dolphins, who then end up scoring to make it 10-0. And it's just like stuff like that is just incredibly, I mean, it's so asinine. It's just hard to talk about. And then, okay, so then, you know, that we get that fumble out of the way. So let's go to the second drive of the game. Oh, wait, another fumble on fourth down by Justin Fields getting, you know, sacked and just coughs up the football. And it's just like, why? I don't know. It's so, and it's funny too, because it's like, you know, whatever. I'm getting all over the place here. Let me just keep going with
You're good.
with this.
It feels better. You just got to let it out.
Yeah, you just got to let it out, man, because it's just hard to have to watch this team. And it's just, you know, the offense is just so uncreative and uninspiring. It's just like a run play up the middle, another run, and barely any throwing. And, you know, we have this stud at receiver, Garrett Wilson, and it just seems like, I mean, just throw the ball the guy's way. I just don't understand the way that this team is being operated. And it's just the same old thing all over again. Like, yes, it's Aaron Glenn, it's a new person, but it's another defensive coach with like no, like, you know, I know this is on the offensive coordinator, but it's just the same thing. Like, just so like uninspiring and so unimaginative on the offensive side of the ball. I just really don't get it. And, you know, so here we are, and you know, once again, the second half, oh, guess what happens again? Another fumble to start it off by Isaiah Williams, who we'll get to later, by the way, because he does another, you know, amazing jet-like play. Just, I mean, all these things. I mean, I could get into the nitty-gritty of how everything went, but basically the Jets just shot themselves in the foot once again. You know, the Dolphins, like, to me, like, this loss is way worse than the Bills loss, because the Bills are just a better football team than the Jets, simply put. This Dolphins team, I mean, yes, they showed up tonight and were, you know, obviously played better than the Jets, but I mean, how can you know, this team is also 0-3, and they lose Tyreek Hill, by the way, in the third quarter. And like, how do we, you know, it's just so aggravating, bro. I'll just stop for a second. I know you watched this game as well. I mean, it's just the same old stuff, right, man?
Yeah, really. This was like one of the first games this year I really was able to like watch the game in earnest. And yeah, I mean, the turnover battle has been really bad, both for and against, it seems like. And I got to think the stats back that up. And yeah, all those, the penalties, just a lot of like procedural penalties, false starts, just like very, not cohesive at all. And that's like, and look, I know it's a new coaching staff. But like, look, a lot of that is coaching. I mean, it is.
Right.
Like, I know like Aaron Glenn is probably still like, liked by Jet fans, and like, there's no reason to like turn on him at this point. But that was, just watching that, from an unbiased perspective, like that was just not well played football, very sloppy. Like you said, Tyreek Hill gets hurt. This is not like it's a very good Dolphin team. And I mean, not a whole lot to love here from a Jet perspective.
Yeah, I mean, and it's getting harder to support Aaron Glenn because it just seems like it's the same old thing. And he talked this huge game about, eliminating all the stupid stuff. And I mean, he's the one that said it too. He called it stupid stuff. And it's like these are all these penalties, that it just everything was just shooting us in the foot, whether it be an offsides call. Sauce Gardner had a brutal holding call at one point, a defensive pass interference on Waddle at one point. I mean, Garrett Wilson caught a touchdown earlier in the game, but he got called for a push-off, which was a little ticky-tack, but still just like, all these things just add up. And it's just like, we just constantly shoot ourselves in the foot all the time. And also like Darren Waller just gets like resurrected today and just looks like unstoppable. Like no one on our team could cover him. It was just such a disaster, bro. Really was. I mean, it was a disgrace. Like, I don't even know really what else to say about this game other than the team looks lost and uninspired. Just a really, really ugly loss. I mean, at this point now, I know you've had to play this game the last few years, but, now I'm rooting for the number one pick, bro. I mean, this team is completely capable of doing that. Now, will they do that? Probably not, because it's the Jets. And, we're probably going to, have some miraculous win somewhere in this list of games coming up here that's just going to totally shoot us in the foot. But it's definitely on the table. And, as you saw tonight and as every Jet fan saw tonight on Monday Night Football, this team is just not a good team. And it really is just, it's absurd, bro. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Isaiah Williams, like...
Yeah, we forgot. I said we bring it up. You go ahead. You take it away here.
Isaiah Williams with one of the worst fair catches I've ever seen. He fair caught the ball. Was it the three? It was on the three.
It was on the 3-yard line. And mind you, the Jets had kicked a field goal to make it 24-13. And then we stop the Dolphins and force a punt. So you're like, okay, maybe some momentum here. And then this guy, Isaiah Williams, who had fumbled the ball earlier, now calls a fair catch on the 3-yard line. I mean, like... Clearly the kid is just so completely overwhelmed at the situation, but like there's really like nobody else that you could put in. It's just the preparedness of the team is just it's disastrous, bro. I mean, right then and there, not that I really had that much hope that there was going to be some kind of rally, but once that happened, you're like, okay, what's going to possibly come out of this? So just the stupidest fair catch of all time. You had said that in our text chain, and it's absolutely correct. I've never seen anything like that ever.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like, yeah.
And like, not only was it horrible because of the 3-yard line, but like originally no one was even near him.
Right.
Like, he could have, in theory, just caught it and made a move and actually went somewhere.
Something.
Like,
yeah.
He did the last thing that you could have possibly done right there. You got to either just get away, let it bounce, and go into the end zone. That's pretty much what you got to do.
I know, yeah. Especially at the 3-yard line. Yeah, like, just let it bounce, bro. I mean, it's going to probably bounce. And I mean, it would. Right. It would. Yeah.
Sorry, Casey. And they were able to... It ended up being no harm, no foul, because I think they were able to move the ball down the field after that. But still, just optically, it's bad. He had already fumbled.
And we're just wasting time on the clock, which was already precious. And, just that's another thing, too. Just like there's no urgency on this team. Like, we end up scoring this last-minute touchdown and go for this 2-point conversion. But the whole time that we're driving, it's just like Justin Fields has, like, no awareness for the clock, really, or just like the urgency and like, hey, if we get a score here, there's a chance that we could get the ball back with some time. But just very, like, lackadaisical kind of nature with everything that just made it like, oh, what are we doing here? Are we trying to win a football game, or like you're just like, tired and don't really feel like playing anymore? I mean, I don't get it, man. It's bad. It's a bad situation. I mean, I know Glenn is, got a little bit of leeway here, but it's the act is already starting to wear thin just because of everything that he talked about that he was going to claiming that we're not, that we're not the same Jets and we're going to clean up all the stupid shit. I mean, once again, it's like a recreation of the Saleh thing with this, 13 penalties for 101 yards again, dude. The franchise is cursed, bro. It really is. I mean, this franchise is fucking cursed. But I mean, we will now pivot a little bit to your team, which was a bit of a bittersweet victory, obviously. Jackson Dart's first start, which was, last time we were talking, we weren't sure if he was going to get the starting nod, this week, or maybe if they were going to wait for next week against the Saints. But, cool that they did. And, he had some moments of greatness here. But obviously the big thing was, stud wide receiver Malik Nabers going down. I guess, talk about it, bro. What are we feeling here?
Yeah. Not good. Not good. And, I feel like I might be not in the minority, but I sense a lot of positivity, like in the fact that, the Giants won Jackson Dart's first start. And that's great. That really is. The fact that he won his first start, like the fact that he showed that he can operate an offense. Like, look, it wasn't like it was some amazing game for Dart. It truly was not. And he was kind of limping, or he was kind of hobbling around himself, which wasn't great. This game was won by the defense. But Malik Nabers going down, man, that really hurts. Out for the season, and so just the evaluation process on Jackson Dart is not quite fulfilled. Right now, there's always been a caveat: if he doesn't do well, Malik Nabers wasn't in there. Like, great, it's kind of a built-in excuse now, and one that holds validity, but. MetLife Stadium is a fucking joke. I understand, look, Tyreek Hill got hurt in Miami. Like, I understand, injuries happen in different stadiums, but the MetLife Stadium,
it's infamous for it.
Catastrophic injuries is just out of control.
For sure. The turf is just horrible. I mean, there's been so many games. I remember when San Francisco came to play the Jets week 2 one year, and there was about 3, including Nick Bosa, there was 3 injuries to the 49ers. But that's the kind of stuff that happens obviously Aaron Rodgers with his Achilles, so many plays like that. So, unfortunately MetLife claims another fucking victim, and it just sucks because, you would feel like you would have this win here. Okay, now maybe we could start building momentum. You got New Orleans, right? You could probably win that game. I mean, they put up a little fight against the Bills, but still, you think you could win that, especially with Nabers. And now you might even be in the same boat as me, where you're kind of like, do I want this team to fucking win anymore?
100%. Yeah. 100%. And the funny thing is, the Giants aren't even. Now the Giants might win the game. They're not even favored against New Orleans.
Yeah, wow.
And so now again, I don't want to go so far down this rabbit hole, but it's real. I didn't want, but when Nabers got hurt, and this is nothing against Jackson Dart. I want Jackson Dart to be successful. Do not get me wrong. I would have preferred they lost, because the thing here too is some of the play, again, from a coaching standpoint. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Joe Shane to begin with, but the red zone offense, the goal line play calling was pathetic in this game. Dexter Lawrence gets really the Giants won based off a couple of really big interceptions. Dexter Lawrence, which only led to a field goal. That's the pathetic thing. He got it down to inside the 5. And they end up only getting a field goal because there was a false start penalty on Greg Van Roten that kind of put them back. And Drew Phillips later on in the third quarter, he gets another one of those interceptions, down deep, to the 3, and they're able to get Jackson Dart's first passing touchdown. It was really a shovel pass to Theo Johnson. There wasn't a whole lot to be inspired about. I mean, there was in terms of the pass rush, although you were facing a Charger offensive line that did not have Rashawn Slater coming in, and then Joe Alt, another victim of MetLife Stadium, sustains a high ankle sprain. So, as much as I want to give credit, and Brian Burns has been fantastic, this was probably Abdul Carter's most noticeable game. He got better as the game went on, had a lot of pressures, was in the face. Justin Herbert didn't have much time to throw it all in this game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I want to be happy about this win, but it's really, really hard to, because, look, I am kind of looking for a regime change.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just...
And when Nabers going down, that really, right in that moment, okay, well, like there goes the excitement is gone. Like losing is probably more beneficial than winning. So man, I just don't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, I get it because like you said, it was not really the best, inspiring football anyway to begin with. There was a couple key plays for you guys that helped seal the deal, but this Dayball Shane thing is just I guess I credit Mara for trying to make it work, but it just doesn't. It just kind of seems like the same same old song and dance. So I don't know. I mean,
Casey, good win, right? Yeah. I mean, Chargers are a good team. Were they 3-0? I mean, they were 3-0. Are they to that level? Probably not.
Probably not. But
and it is tough. That West Coast team coming in for the 1 p.m. Eastern game is probably never an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Chargers are also kind of just a weird, historically,
Chargers
kind of a weird team to begin with.
Yep.
Yeah. So, again, some good defensive performances to be certain. Cam Scattaboo, while it wasn't pretty at all, like with Tyrone Tracy, Scattaboo had 25 carries. I mean, he was, grinding out yards. Again, it was 25 carries for 79 yards. So not great efficiency whatsoever.
Yeah.
But, you appreciate his toughness, I guess.
Yeah. He's showing signs of he could become the RB1, I could see that in the future, but
yes,
yeah, it's definitely like a weird limbo kind of situation for you because it's like you are encouraged by, some of the young talent, showing some signs of good performances, but at what cost? Because now that Nabers is gone, I mean, Wan'Dale Robinson is his number 1 receiver right now. So,
that's and Darius Slayton. And then behind that, it's really not. The Giants did not have good wide receiver depth to begin with. Yeah. Now you take Malik Nabers out, it's going to be pretty ugly. Yeah, so, man. I think they're going to have a tough time. And, Dart, just to give the numbers, I mean, and part of it is game script and game plan, but Dart 13 for 20, 111 yards, 1 touchdown throw, no interceptions, 10 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. So the rushing numbers are pretty solid, kind of out of necessity, but he took 5 sacks. I think he needs to do. He kind of got worse as the game went on. Amazing first drive, was really good to start. And then, he kind of gets he gets banged up. Nabers is out of the game. And I felt as if his game kind of took a little bit of a dip as it went on. Got a pretty solid Charger defense, but they get the win. Like you said, Casey, very, very bittersweet for me. I'm probably taking a little bit more of a negative tone than maybe other Giant fans are, but to me, the Malik Nabers torn ACL, that is the big story out of this game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it is. And I mean, I guess you'll see what I guess this new version of the Giants is going to look like against New Orleans, but probably not going to look good. And I guess I guess you just have to see how it goes, man. It's a tough situation to be in. I mean, that's what sucks about being a fan. It's like you want to be happy and you want to kind of be like, oh, well, maybe we could win 2 in a row, but it's like for what? Because, realistically, what it was
after the Saints, and I'm not sure what it is beyond the next 3, but it's Eagles at Broncos, Eagles.
Yeah.
You're not winning those games.
No.
You're not winning those games. So it's like, whatever. I mean, and I don't want to be hung up so much on the wins and losses, right? It's more about Dart's development and, just how the team looks from a discipline, just how does Daboll have them ready to go and, Mike Kaff's play calling it. So it's more than just that, but I wasn't overly impressed with some of the things I saw. Again, that the pass rush of this Giant team is the bread and butter. That is going to get them these wins that they sneak out. That's what it is. And that's basically what happened in this Charger game. And that's fine. But yeah, man, not great.
Yeah. I mean, kind of once again, even though the Giants did pull out a win, it's kind of the same old situation for both New York teams. And, just to kind of talk about looking ahead for the Jets as well. I mean, we got Dallas coming up, who's clearly an offensive powerhouse. Maybe we'll be able to put up some points against that defense, but knowing the Jets, maybe that won't be the case. So we'll see. And then after them, we have Denver, obviously who's a pretty formidable team.
And that's overseas, right?
And that is overseas. So that's going to be up a 9:30 Eastern start. But obviously the next 2 opponents are not going to be any easier for the Jets as well. So, let the tank commence, especially for my dog shit franchise. But it is what it is, man.
Thinking that.
Yeah.
I can't believe you for thinking that. Now, obviously, Aaron Glenn is safe, but in the sense of Justin Fields probably is not the future quarterback, right? And so
No.
in the Jets case, yeah, I mean, I don't blame you for rooting for losses, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you land a top quarterback.
I hope so, man. Yeah, well, I guess we got to see who comes out this year for the draft, but definitely going to keep an eye out on that because, it might be that time of year already. But anyway, luckily though, just to kind of wrap things up here. Just wanted to touch on our Yankees real quick. Just, proud of our boys for making the playoffs. Very disappointed that, we didn't get the AL East crown. Toronto kind of took care of business against the Rays. So that wasn't really it. But, we had been talking kind of privately and just, we're saying that the Yankees kind of shot themselves in the foot, those games against Toronto and, even Boston too. There's a lot of opportunities that were left on the table for the Yankees. So a little bit of a bummer there, but happy that we're in the postseason. I'm just, excited for postseason ball. Glad that at least we have the first wild card seed. So, that's good, but it's funny though, like all year, right? As Yankee fans, we make it to the World Series last year, and obviously Juan Soto was a huge part of that. Had the big home run against Cleveland to get us to the World Series. And everyone knows the story of him moving over to the Mets, but man, just like, I don't know about you, man, but there's a lot of Met fans in our life that have been talking a lot of poopy cocky, bro. And I gotta say, man, that was quite. I guess we could all see it coming, and it was like a death by 1,000 cuts. But man, when that Lindor double play to end it to make this official, they getting shut out by the Florida Marlins. Miami Marlins. It's just like, wow. Just crazy, man. I just felt like we needed to touch on this just quickly. I mean,
I'm really happy to.
Poetic justice, right?
Yeah. Yeah. On the channel, right? With the Yankee content, we keep it, to Yankee baseball. And of course we could veer to the Mets, but here, it's absolutely worth talking about and just
had to touch on it.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of shit. So, and look, everything changes year by year, but for 2025, right? The Yankees lose Juan Soto, who had an amazing season with the Yankees last year. He goes to the Mets, and the Yankees, and we'll see what happens in the postseason, right? That remains to be seen, but Yankees ended up with the same record as they had last year. And they did lose, and look, not for nothing, they didn't have Garrett Cole all season long, beyond other things, but they still had the same record.
Heel was out for some time. Schmidt, you know what I mean? There was a lot of shit.
Clark Schmidt, yeah. And look, all teams, all teams deal with injuries, right? So, but I totally agree. Yeah. And the Mets, they let the Cincinnati Reds they didn't even want to make the play. That last National League wild card spot was just trying to hand it away every time they had a chance to.
It's unbelievable, bro.
And the Mets somehow found a way to not make the playoffs. And the beauty of it all is the last day of the season, the Reds lost to the Brewers. The Mets had it in their hands. And they get shut out by the Marlins.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I mean, and like you said, it was kind of a slow burn since, mid-June. But absolutely unbelievable. In this here, New York market, that's, out of everything that had happened with, the Giants, right, and the Yankees, the Mets talk was deservedly the biggest one. And it's going to go down as one of the biggest disappointments / collapses of all time. High expectations, a team that made the NLCS the year before, overachieved. Absolutely.
Yes.
But
and it's
still,
even more evident now with the way that this ended. Right.
And Juan Soto did have a good statistical season. Now, I think in many, many, many big spots, he fell short. He just did. But I almost think that the cause is even greater than that he actually did do very well. And yet still, they end up 83-79. Man, you cannot feel good at all if you're a Mets fan.
No,
right
man.
now.
The starting pitching completely fell apart for them. Just so much of it. It's pretty wild. And like you said, that Soto had a great year, but I agree. It felt almost like empty stats in a way because, like you said, it seemed like in terms of moments that matter and clutch moments, it just didn't seem like he came through. And this was a kind of a talk for kind of throughout the season, just how he almost seemed kind of checked out from everything this year with the Mets. Almost like he got his bag and he's kind of just kind of coasting now. He was, he was never somebody, even when he was on the Yankees, and there's a proven track record here. He is not the like team leader captain like an Aaron Judge is, or someone like that of that caliber. He is, someone that puts up insane numbers, but he just kind of beats to his own drum and does his own thing. I mean, it happened with, obviously he won the championship with the Nationals, but then he goes to the Padres. They don't really do all that much. It was ultimately kind of a disappointing thing, right, with the Padres.
Yeah, they had they reached the NLCS and lost to the Phillies.
Okay.
But yes,
yeah.
it didn't feel. But yeah, but like Soto's time, it could have been more.
Yeah.
Probably.
Just felt like, it just felt like he was kind of checked out this year. But
something seemed off.
Something seemed off.
It really
the
did.
chemistry was off.
People can say whatever they want, and obviously there's going to be biases here, admittedly, on both sides of it. But yeah, like the fire didn't seem like it was burning.
Yeah.
Like it felt like, and maybe this is the type of guy that Soto's always been, but it seemed like to me, like, he really wanted that 40-40 more than anything.
Yeah.
Like I think he was 2 steals. It seemed like the personal stats and individual accomplishments seemed like they were more important to him than overall team
100%.
success.
I mean, kind of, that's how I always felt about Carmelo Anthony, like someone like that type of player where it's like he would be happy in a loss if he got his numbers kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, it's just unbelievable. I mean, I guess as a Met fan, this has to be worse than 07, I would imagine, because just the expectations were just so much more with this team. I mean, their payroll was higher than us this year, right? So, I mean, you lost to the Cincinnati Reds. I mean, it's unbelievable. And, the Mets are just not a franchise that would necessarily rebound from this. Okay. This is not, there are certain teams and certain, great franchises that will obviously have down years, but usually those types of franchises find a way to rebound. And I don't know, man. I mean, look, next year is next year, and, we'll see what happens. This whole team might be look a lot different too, but just wild. Just had to touch on it because of how monumental of a collapse it was. And in terms of the climate in New York and how Mets fans were kind of already, crowning themselves the kings of New York. And
they were calling themselves Big Brother.
Feeling themselves a little too much. And
this is what happens. This is what happens a lot.
Yeah.
We've seen this a lot, and it's the same result. It is like, for me, it amazes me the ways in which that franchise finds ways to embarrass themselves.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's just crazy.
It's crazy.
The fact that they actually did this. And 07 was like, it all happened so quickly, right? What was it?
Yeah.
They were up on the Phillies in the NL East, like 7 games up with like 17 games to go, something
like that.
Around that, which is crazy to lose that. But like the Phillies went on a tear. The Reds, they were playing middling baseball,
like 500 baseball.
They didn't do anything. Yeah. I mean, they basically played 500 ball. I think they were like maybe 40-40 in the last 80 games.
Oh my
It's not like this is like the Reds. It's not like the Guardians, who just went nuts.
Yes,
right.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to be ashamed. I mean, there's just for all the shit that was talked. I know it's not all Met fans. I get that.
Yeah.
But and look, I understand the excitement. I do, but man. The comeuppance is strong.
It's humble pie for sure, dude. It's crazy.
Absolutely. And I don't think that you can feel, I mean, look, obviously the fact they have the high payroll, they're going to be competitive naturally based off that. But look, Pete Alonso and Edwin Diaz are both going to opt out. Those are very, very important players to that franchise.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't think there's an easy solution.
There really isn't,
right?
because who else do you have on your rotation too for your pitchers, right? It's like Clay Holmes again. You still got Clay Holmes, right? That you're going to have to, I guess. I mean, yes, I know he had a pretty solid game, 161, but he definitely came down to earth compared to what he was like in the first half of the year or the first couple months of the year.
Right. He's a middle. He's like a middle of the rotation guy at best.
Montas. It's just like some of these. It's funny. Just as Yankee fans, it's like we could have told you how these two pitchers were going to be like for you guys and stuff like that.
It is pretty funny too,
Yeah.
and even Carlos Mendoza, who look, I think blame can be spread around everywhere, but it is funny. With Mendoza, it starts to feel kind of look, he was under Boone for years. So it's like, as a Yankee fan, you're starting to see just some of the stuff, some of the things that bother us with the Yankees.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing it with the Mets, where people were very upset with the Met-Red game out of the All-Star break. The Mets pretty much punted that game away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking like that was the one time I really was like, wow, that was extremely Yankee-like, where they pretty much just like gave the game away against the Reds. I mean, the Mets, I think, front office or whoever, like, kind of felt like they were gonna have this playoff spot in the bag, and pretty much didn't do everything in their best abilities to make sure that they got the wins they needed to make the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. So they'll just have to, Juan Soto can watch the playoffs in his suite with his mommy and daddy, and can enjoy it. We'll be playing some postseason ball tomorrow, which is going to be great. If you guys haven't checked it out, Derek already did a little series preview of this series coming up against Boston. Make sure to check that out on the channel. We'll have it up here on the screen. And guys, I mean, just another lousy week of football for both New York teams. I know Derek won, and I guess I want you should be.
There is some positivity, of course. There is, but
it's just that, at least from my side of things, very bleak. Derek is slightly less bleak, but we are.
We know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
But we know where this is going.
But anyway, guys, thanks for listening. As always, please like and subscribe, guys. We're up to 919 subscribers as of this recording, which is awesome. We really appreciate all the support and stuff like that, and hearing us, bitch and moan about our favorite New York sports teams. Like I had just mentioned, Derek does Yankees recaps, and especially with this postseason run coming up here, we'll be breaking down every single game from each series as opposed to doing a full series recap. So make sure to tune in for those. We'll make sure to have those up, after the game, plays and stuff like that day. Ranger season is around the corner as well. So Derek's going to be doing a lot of, those Ranger recaps that everybody loves too. And we'll
be doing it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Casey. And we'll be doing a season preview as well.
Doing a season preview coming up here, as well. Yep. And, we'll still continue doing these NFL recaps. It might be hard for me to keep talking about my Jets, especially if it looks like what we saw tonight. But, if it's, a therapy session that you need as a Jets fan, then I think you've come to the right place, because we could just commiserate together. So, guys, thank you for listening. This is producer Casey. Derek, you're the man. Everyone, we'll see you guys soon. Take care.